someone coming right after today's training to work on my internet. So yesterday that was not cool. All right, we are live. So, welcome everyone. Today is Friday, which means it is our weekly group coaching session with my visionaries. Today, what I want to do is first, I want to show you how to join us in the Zoom meeting if you're a member. Also, what I want to show you and talk a little bit about today is domains, like redirecting domains, the hierarchy of domains, how you want to get all of that set up, how you redirect a root domain when you're using the subdomain, things like that. Okay. I think it's kind of cool to go through some foundational knowledge occasionally just for new people, and also maybe a refresher for people that are not new. All right. So, what I want to do first is I want to tell you how you can join us in the Zoom meeting if you are in our reseller program. So all you want to do, go to our community tab. If you're in the dashboard, you'll see community, and then you'll just go to today's date here. I do want to tell you, like, just click here and you can go right into the Zoom meeting. If you are in our free members or you're part of our All Tools bundle, that does not include the reseller program, so you don't get to join us. However, you can go to myvisionagency.com and sign up to become a reseller if you are interested. Okay, so today, let me stop first, make sure no one's trying to get in. Okay, good. All right, so today, let me show you this here. Let me go ahead and present this. Present. Here we go. Okay. All right, so to understand the basic usage of the domains, okay? Anytime you purchase a domain, and a lot of times, especially as a software reseller, we, sign up for a software and then we need to connect our domain. And a lot of times, what people do by mistake, I've done this too, is connect your main root domain to the white label software. That's not what you want to do, because that main root domain needs to be the website that you are giving, that you're promoting whatever your software is on. Okay. You don't want to have to tell people, yeah, go to like ads.myvisionagency.com to sign up. That's not what you want to do. So you always want to reserve that root domain for the website that you are promoting or people are going to be signing up for your service on. Now, the next thing is, like I said, when you are connecting a domain to your dashboard, whatever tool you're using, HighLevel or AI ad system, whatever, you want to use something like app dot whatever your domain is. And you can see here, it's important to keep all of these within the same domain, so you don't have to go purchase new domains every time you need to add something. We really want to build this all in the same domain for brand consistency, but also just for ease, okay? So if somebody, let's say that they just go to app.myvisionagency.com, and the natural thing we want to do is we want to look up what is at myvisionagency.com. Okay. So if you don't have a website connected, you need to make sure to redirect those. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. Now, a subdomain is just like we talked about here for the actual app. Okay. So a subdomain is the same as this here. It's going to be something dot whatever your domain is. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a brand new domain. It's actually better to just keep everything in the domain, and you can create unlimited subdomains on your domain inside of HighLevel. It doesn't cost anything else. Really simple. Now, the email sending domain, that is different from an email address. Okay, an email sending domain, again, is going to be a subdomain. But this is what we are going to tell the system, that when we're sending from this root domain, it's basically telling the system we are part of this business. So don't throw us in spam. It's not the only thing that'll make you end up in spam, but it's definitely the biggest, most popular reason why people end up in spam because they don't have an email sending domain set up. Okay. So, what we want to do is connect that email sending domain in the settings, go to email services, and you'll see how you can add that. It can be anything that you want to. It can be kitty cats dot, whatever your domain is, doesn't really matter. You just need to have one set up there. Okay. Now, a page in your website is different than a subdomain. And a lot of people get this confused as well. It's not like, let's say, for example, you have an affiliate link and you want it to redirect. Like you want to say, in this example, myvisionagency.com/offer. Maybe I want to have that redirect to an affiliate link because I don't want to be posting on social media and say, hey, sign up for this awesome offer. And it's like first promoter dot whatever your affiliate link is, right? So I'm going to talk as well about how you can redirect from a page. And then I wanted to make sure to point out the email address. Every business, if you're using at Gmail, you need to, your business needs to level up. Okay. At Gmail is not a business email. It is not professional. If ever I see a Gmail email address sent from a business, I know that they're beginners. Okay. We need to have a professional email address and it needs to be attached to the same domain that we're using our email sending domain from, preferably everything, right? So I use this main domain and this whole example here. I've only purchased one domain, but I'm creating a subdomain here, a subdomain, a subdomain. I'm creating a page that I'm going to redirect. And then I also have the email address. So the email address is what I'm going to be. I'll have an inbox and I'll be sending and receiving emails in a separate place like Google Workspace or something like that. And that's going to be your email address. Okay. So hopefully, before I move any further, do you guys have any questions about that? This is such a frequently asked question. People just get so confused by this.
You
This
you
was
have a
good.
good.
You hit everything. That was really good.
Do you have any recommendations other than Google Workspace that
I mean,
are solid with high level and within the email world?
most people are using like Outlook or Google Workspace. I just like Google Workspace. You can create unlimited um, well, not unlimited. You can create like up to 30 alias email addresses. You can add different domains there. I just think it's something that I've used for probably 10 years and it's the easiest for me. But if you're already using Outlook, you probably just want to use that.
Let me say my experience with Outlook is that Microsoft is trying to enmesh everything they can into your dealings. Everything you do, Microsoft wants a part of it. And it is just terrible if you have a friend or someone, some other part of your life in business, and you give them an email address through Microsoft and through Outlook. It's terrible. I would stay away from it. I'm from 30 years experience. It's Microsoft's quest, and I would stay with Google. Of course, Google is a conglomerate now too, but I would stay with it if you could.
I use both.
Yeah. Well, I'm
I
I'm
use I
kind of
use both.
grandfathered into it.
I use both for larger things, like big teams. I'll go with Outlook. For smaller teams, like if it's yourself and just like a couple people, I would go with Google. And that's my recommendation. Like I have problems with both. It depends what job you're doing. They both have their pros and their cons, but Google does integrate easier with Go High Level. I have to admit that. Anything that you do with Go High Level, it just seems to go a lot smoother with Google.
I also
I
like
agree with
that
that.
you like it too.
Yeah, I agree with that because I have a client and on their service, a corporate client, they have about 16 different email addresses. And for them, I did have to put them over into that Microsoft space. It was a pain getting everything set up for them. And it's a nice little tab per month. But then for my smaller clients who have, anywhere from 1 to 5, the trick that you showed us with the Google Workspace has been amazing, and they know that they can grow if they need to. So yeah, having separate email inboxes and having the aliases on the 2 different accounts had to work for me as well. And yes, Bridget, the way that you explained all of that is absolutely perfect. I was over here cheering.
Good, good. I'm glad it helped. It took, like I said, I've been using Google Workspace for like 10 years, and it probably took me about that long to like really get a hold of it. And honestly, that I set a client up on Google Workspace, and that, when you're actually doing something and doing something different than you're used to, it takes on a whole other level of like learning it and all of that. So I'm glad that my struggle helped eliminate yours. Um, I don't know who was next, Manolo or Keith.
I was next.
Okay.
So to be more specific, can you show us where each one of those 2 email addresses go on the platform?
What do you mean? By
Okay.
email address. So the email address would be like info@myvisionagency.com.
Let me get a second here, and I'll show you what I mean to be more specific.
Okay.
Because I've been working on it a lot.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of emails go to the spam box because for one reason or the other one, I was sharing the wrong email. Let me see.
Okay.
Here.
While you look that up, I'll go ahead and go to Keith.
Yeah,
Right.
actually, I think I might have the same question. So I'm almost there. This is surprisingly complex, and I didn't realize I'd be spending so much of my life thinking about this, but you summarized it perfectly. The one last piece is email sending domain. So email myvisionagency.com specifically tells the world of the internet that when emails come out of HighLevel, or that's the domain that is safe and you're building a reputation, and then you add on 1 to 1,000 Google space info or Keith or whatever at MyVision, and that service of sending and receiving those emails plus the browser and the whatever, that's what Google's providing. But the purpose and the benefit of the email sending domain is only for emails leaving HighLevel. Is that right?
No. Well, so the email sending domain is what, let me show mine here for just a second. I'll come right back to you, Manolo.
Because the misconnect for me is, what does email.myvisionagency.com have to do with Keith at myvisionagency.com?
So this is what tells the system when emails come out of your sub account, that it's basically like if you're like allowed to send, right? Like you can see I have many, right? But it connects your email address to your actual email or your account, right? So this system, we're setting up the email sender on a domain. Okay, that's really all it is. It's just the email sender system. We want to put it on a domain because that's what connects our HighLevel sub account with our email address, because the email address is purchased somewhere else, right? There's nowhere to tell HighLevel or any other software that's set up like this. There's nowhere to tell it like, hey, when I send an email here, it's really connected to the sub account. So that's all we're doing is just connecting our email address to our HighLevel sub account. So that's why you need to, if your email address is like at keith.com, then you need to set up an email sending domain for like email.keith.com.
So does that benefit if I send out of my Google Workspace Gmail account, if I send, 200 emails out, does setting up the email sending domain within HighLevel benefit that also?
So it's a different system than your Gmail, right? So like you're not going to be sending, I mean, you can, but it's not,
Yeah, okay.
Gmail is not set up for you to send like bulk emails.
Well,
Like,
it's Keith at mydomain.com. It's not at gmail.com.
so what do you have it set up
Well,
where you're sending like so many emails from your
No, no, sorry. I'm just backing. I'm trying to, in theory, understand how the reputation of the domain propagates around the internet world. And it's
The
slightly
email sending
confusing,
domain.
but I think I'm going to move on, and I understand enough to be dangerous now. So.
Yeah, just know, even if you don't understand how it works, you're sending all of your email marketing from HighLevel. That's where everything's set up. The reason that you're going to do that is because you have more capabilities and all of that stuff. And you can't really, like, there are no analytics to, if you're just sending from Google Workspace, because you can, there are limits to how many you can send a day. You also don't have access to any analytics whatsoever. You can't really track anything, and it's not going to show up unless you have the two-way sync inside of HighLevel. So just know, even if you don't understand how it works, just know you have to have it. So have your email address, create an email sending domain. As long as you're logging in with that email address that's connected to that email sending domain, you're good.
And it's really the lead connector / mailgun reputation that we're building in and out of high
No,
level.
it's your email sending domain. It's just
Within
that's
that
the,
system. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'll
yeah.
bow up.
Yeah. Manolo, I did want to go to you and see, did you figure that out?
Well, I'm in the process of figuring out. That's why we're talking.
Okay.
So this is my dedicated domain to send email. Okay. So I created one subdomain to send emails.
Mhm.
And over here, what address goes here? Okay.
That is going to be the address that you're logging in as. Okay. That's why you need to have your you have an email sending domain, right? Which is like, I don't know, let's say manolo.com. All right. That's your domain. You have an email address that's like info@manolo.com. And then you have an email sending domain that's like email.manolo.com, right? So you need to go to your profile, and you need to make sure that your profile, when you're logging into that email with that email address, because that's what's connecting the two things.
Oh, that's something new. So I have to be logged in here as Manolo.
Yeah, you have to be logged in as whatever user is, like, the email is attached to that email sending domain.
Okay.
So everything, that's why it's so important. Everything needs to be, you need to be logging in with that email, right? Because you're a user, and every user needs to have an email address attached to that domain. Okay, so it's like, let's say that you take on a VA and they're going to be sending and receiving emails from your business. They need to have an email address attached to that domain as well. And you're going to create a user for them. They're going to be logging in with that email address, and then everything that they send is going to be from that email address.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You guys have any more questions before I move on? Good questions, though.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I've got a question, but it can wait. It's about the Gmail address. That's all.
Okay.
If I can ask it now,
Yeah,
I
go ahead. Go ahead.
My login to Go High Level is something at Gmail, Ray Hines at Gmail.
Mhm.
And so I have, a lot of my dealings, everything is my official login is Gmail. But my sending domain is using computerworksllc.com, and it's using Ray Hines, computerworksllc.com. Is that okay? I mean, you said
When you log into HighLevel, you should always be logging into your branded version of HighLevel with your email address that's attached to that email sending domain.
So right now that's my Gmail address, and do I need to change it?
You need to change it to an email address that is connected to your email sending domain.
Okay.
So if you're sending from like email.billybob.com, you need to have an email address that you're logged in as that's like info at kitty cats, Billy Bob, whatever I just said. All of it, every single user has to have an email that is attached to the same root domain that your whole, like your email sending domain is attached to. Okay. It doesn't matter how many websites you have or any of that. None of that is relevant to this part. It just, every user, if your email sending domain is on xyz.com, every single user needs to have an email address attached to xyz.com. They need to be logging in with that email address, and then they will be sending from, and can, you know, all the things related to your business will be, because really that's how professional businesses are, right? If
Yeah.
if you contact HighLevel and you're talking to Pablo, which I love, his email is going to be like Pablo at gohighlevel.com because he's an employee with HighLevel.
Okay, I think I've got it right. I think I'm going to go back through it and see, but I'm pretty sure I've got it set up correctly. After
Cool.
all these months, I'm pretty sure. Thank you.
Tony, you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to circle back. I think we touched on this before, but the email sending domain, you could have more than one of those, right? And one of the benefits is, if I am corrected, is that if that email sending domain that you set up, if it gets burned, all you got to do is change out that email sending domain, but you could just keep it with your same business name because that's the initial one that you logged into.
Yeah.
Got it. Got
Yep.
it. Look at you
Hold on,
teaching me stuff.
can it be this? Can it be the same root domain? So can I have email, message, blah blah, 10
Yeah.
versions? And wouldn't the the system figure out if you burned 4 of them by accident, that the root domain has a problem?
It's, I mean, I don't want to say like no, but the purpose of email sending domains is one, creating that additional domain attached to your domain, right? So it's like we want to keep everything in the same like ecosystem. That's not to mean, and I'm far from like an email like expert, but that doesn't mean necessarily that it's just never going to happen. But the purpose of those dedicated domains is to help you prevent that. Like you can see here, if I look at this account here, you can see there's all of these different email sending domains, and you can even go to domain configuration, and then you can say like, I want to use for my workflows, I want to use this email sending domain, one-on-one conversations, I want to use this one, and so on. So, and then obviously you can choose your default as well. So not only can you create different ones, you can separate them and you can organize them so that each individual thing is going or being sent from an additional like different domain. Does that make
And then if
sense?
they reply, if there's a contact in your high-level CRM that receives email from 3 or 4 of those, the conversations tab will have them all for their contact.
Yeah,
That
when
contact.
yeah, as long as you've sent them an email when they reply, they're replying to your email address.
Even if it's from multiple different email sent. Oh, sorry. Right. Because it would be Keith or info or whatever. Okay.
Just remember, email address is the sending and receiving of emails. Email sending domain is just the system that the emails are being sent from.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. So let's talk about the redirecting now. Good questions. Let me share my screen. All right. So when you want to add your domain to HighLevel, you're going to go up here, click, obviously you're going to go to domains, you're going to go, add a new domain, and then you're going to type in your domain, okay? The main root domain. So we'll just say test.com. Continue. So now what HighLevel does, and I love this, is it's going to actually connect to whatever system you are actually like that email is connected to or that domain is connected to. For example, if I purchased test.com, and I purchased it on Cloudflare. What's going to happen right now is the system is saying, okay, we recognize that you typed in a root domain. If you want to connect the root domain, we recommend that you also add the www. Okay, so here's where it gets kind of a little like confusing for people. Every time you have a root domain, there's always like this hidden subdomain that goes with it. Okay, so it's like you have test.com and then you have www.test.com. They need to go to the same place and they're the same thing, but www is technically a subdomain. Okay, so I know that sounds so super confusing. And that's why HighLevel has made the attempt to make this super simple. Okay, so if you toggle this on, what this means is that HighLevel is going to add those records for you. So you can see if I click here, what's going to happen is HighLevel is going to, as soon as we click, you know, like let's say it recognized Cloudflare. It would log me, I would log into Cloudflare, and then it would say, we're going to add these records. Do you want to approve? Yes or no? And then it will add the records for you. Okay, so what that looks like is if we were to manually do that, we would go into Cloudflare, we would go to add record, and you'll see here it says a record, use the @ symbol. So we'd go a record. We can choose from the drop-down menu. We can choose the @ symbol, and then we can choose this record here. So anytime you're adding records, it's just copying and pasting. Okay, so that's how you add a record. You would also want to add a CNAME record. Okay. This is anytime you have a root domain, you always need to address the www version, always, okay? Don't ever think that you can just do one part of it and not do the www, because what happens is when it routes to the www, it will be like a broken link. So you need to make sure you always address the www version when you address the root domain, okay? So we have that we would add for the A record, and then of course we have a CNAME record, and we'd want to add this as well. Okay, so what we're actually doing is creating the root domain, adding the records so that we can point it to HighLevel and use on HighLevel, and we're also doing that for the www version. So we would just go back here and then paste this in, and then we could save it. Okay, you can turn that off as well, the proxy off. All right, so when that happens, that domain and the www version will be added to your HighLevel account. Okay, so if it was this domain right here, you could see that we could choose what website now we want to connect it to. So the first part, we're just adding the domain. We're basically changing the record. So instead of Cloudflare hosting the domain, it's now well, it's still hosting, but it's now pointing and connected to HighLevel. So now we can do whatever we want to inside of HighLevel, like what website we want to connect it to, or redirect, or anything that we want. So let's say that I wanted it to be connected to this page here. And then the 404 option is if there's ever a broken domain, meaning like if you deleted a website on accident, or something was, or maybe if you had your root domain but you didn't redirect the www version, then it would go to like a blank page. I know you've all seen it, the standard green black page that says 404 error that, you know, that HighLevel has. You can actually customize it, create whatever page, or what a lot of people will do is just set that 404 error page to the home page. That way, like if there's ever any broken links, instead of going to that 404 page, it's just going to redirect back to the home page. Okay. So that's how you want to add that to HighLevel. Now, when you do add that root domain, it's going to automatically, because you've added those records, it's going to automatically add the www version to this part here where you see the URL redirect. And you'll see if I scroll down here, you'll see that www version or that redirect. You can tell that something's being redirected because there is, now let me find one here. There is a little, now where is it? It's like a little asterisk or a little symbol here. So I'm just going to show you guys all of my goods. Oh, let me stop here so I can dig around here and see where that is to show you. Okay, here it is. I was looking in the wrong spot. So when you add that domain, okay, it adds it here to the domains, actually. I thought it automatically went to the redirect. But you'll see, like for this example, the www version, there's this little thing here, and it tells you that it's redirected to that main root domain. So what just happened, and I'm sorry I don't have a domain that's not connected that I can show you the real live version of it, but what just happened is we said we want to add that domain to HighLevel. It gave us the records to add the root domain and the www subdomain, and then we add that to Cloudflare. And then once everything is good and we hit accept, and then now we come back to HighLevel and we have the root domain and the www version, but you can see here the www version is automatically added to the URL redirect. So we've set both of those things up in the one action. So I know that that probably confused a lot of people. So I want to stop here. Do you guys have any questions before I move on? No?
Oh,
Right.
sorry, one quick one.
Nope, just continuing to cheer you on.
So I've asked this before, and I think the answer is yes, but I, over the years, have acquired domains on 4 different services. Cloudflare, if you're managing, 100 domains plus potentially offering them to customers, is a slam dunk, the best option, right?
I
And then,
I think that, and I think a lot of people who know a lot more about domains and digital marketing than I do, they say Cloudflare. I have always heard universally that everyone says Cloudflare is the best.
and you can manage a domain from Cloudflare before you move it over there and pay them annually or whatever. Is that right?
You're not moving it from Cloudflare. All you're doing is putting the records there to point it to HighLevel. So like, let's say that we have like our whole business set up on HighLevel, and then let's say we just decide to cancel our HighLevel account. It doesn't change our domains at all because it's still being hosted in the registrar, which is Cloudflare. It's just we're adding those records and we're pointing it to somewhere else, but we're not moving it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. But I was thinking, I just want one bill annually, and I'm getting all, to
So
organize my own stuff and customer stuff.
yeah, I totally get it because I was with Bluehost before Cloudflare, and then I had to like move back. So what you would want to do in that case is if you want to use only Cloudflare, wherever you purchase those other domains at, you'll just need to do a transfer process, and Cloudflare actually makes it really simple. So even if you have like a domain that's totally set up and there's all these records, and you're like, oh my gosh, that would be a disaster to move because I'd have to re-enter these and whatever. Cloudflare, when you transfer it, it actually recognizes all of those records and it will add it for you. So it makes it a really simple process.
Simple, but they make you pay the next year ahead. So if you've just renewed, you have to pay for another one. But yeah, it'll be worth it for simplicity.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally what I did with mine is I kind of waited until because Bluehost kept raising their prices. And I was with Bluehost for years, but they kept raising prices over and over. And so when my Bluehost was going to renew, that's when I moved all of my domains. And even though it did cost me because I had lots of domains, it was still less than what Bluehost was charging for the annual subscription. So way worth it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Tony, you have a question?
Yeah, yes, I do. In regards to the domains when you buy them, after you already have them in Cloudflare, which I love Cloudflare, it's really cool. For example, I have domain Tony, and then I'll have domain Anthony. Could I stick both of those domains into one sub account and then create email subdomains for each of those different domains?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can use like whatever domains you want to with your email sending domains. They can be like all different domains. You just have to be very aware that you just need to make sure that if you have different root domains that you've added to your account, you just need to make sure that whatever email is getting sent, that it's getting sent from the email address and the email sending domain that match each other. Otherwise, you're going to have spam issues.
Okay.
So it does kind of get a little
Yeah, it
crazy.
gets murky. It seems like
Yeah.
it gets murky, but
It's
isn't that
better and easier. Like a good practice is use one root domain for your business, right? And most businesses have just one main domain, but you can always like connect different domains or create subdomains for different offers and things like that. But then have like a different account
right,
if you
right,
need like a different, because it's kind of technically a different business at that point.
right. Okay.
Cool.
Think, yep.
All right, so let's talk about now the domains here, okay? So let me refresh my screen here for this. So in this scenario here, we have this that is a software, okay? So we needed to connect a domain, this brand new domain here. We needed to connect it to a software, and every software will tell you here, add these records, okay? And then almost always when it asks you about the proxy, you're just going to leave that off, okay? So if I was adding that record here, it says CNAME, I would choose CNAME, I would type in app, or whatever you want that first part to be. It could be Office, it could be Billy Bob, whatever you want it to be. And then here's the value, and the value they're always going to give you, right? Now, here's the part where I was talking about that it gets a little bit crazy because now remember, in this scenario, we don't want to add the root domain to HighLevel because maybe like we don't have a website yet, or we really just want to like route it to a totally different website. And the reason is because if we go back here to do URL redirects, let's say that we've connected that main root domain here and we wanted to just completely redirect the whole website. Let's say that it's this one right here, okay? Let's say we want to redirect the entire website to another link. If you use this option here, you have to put a path, okay? That would be like a page, like we talked about here. That would be like a page because it would be like the root domain / whatever that page is. Okay. That's great for like affiliate links or Zoom links, things like that. But we need our root domain and the www version that needs to be addressed. Okay. Because just connecting this subdomain here to the software, that's not addressing this part here. So this is very important. Okay. You need to enter these records exactly like you see them, okay? So there's an A record. There's the value here is your domain. So like if I was going to enter this, I would do the A record. You could do the @ symbol because it's your main root domain, or you could just type that in. But then the part that you need to match perfectly is this part here. Okay, so this, what we're doing right now is we are telling Cloudflare, hey, we want you, Cloudflare, to point these records somewhere else, okay? Because remember, like Cloudflare and Bluehost, they're all just registrars, okay? They're not connected to a website. They're not really hosting a website. It's just like a place where the domains live and we can manage them. And most times we are going to point them other places, okay? It's kind of like the home where our domains live, and we just want to direct them. Like we're going to add records and we're going to say, hey, we want you to point over here, we want you to point over here, and all of that, okay? So what we do is we want to put this number here because this is like the Cloudflare record, just like when we were here inside of HighLevel and we were going to add a domain and we got those records. These are the same type of records. I won't go back through that, but it's the same type of situation, except this is for Cloudflare instead of like Those previous records were for HighLevel, okay? Now, in this situation, what we want to do is keep the proxy on, okay? You don't have to know what that means. It's a bunch of technical stuff, but it doesn't matter. You just need to make sure to turn it on and then save, okay? Save. Now, the next step, because remember, we always, even when we're having Cloudflare redirect, we always need to deal with the WW version, okay? So if I was going to enter this again, I want to enter it just like this, okay? So I'm going to go to add a record. This time I'm going to go to CNAME because subdomains are always CNAME. And we want to do WW because that's the beginning part, just like here. And then here we want to add the same as this, okay? So we're just going to add the domain, whatever your domain is, okay? The only thing that needs to be exactly the same here is this and this, okay? This is going to be, when you see Vision SalesBot, that needs to be your domain, okay? So you're going to do CNAME, www, and then you're going to paste in your root domain, whatever you purchased up here, okay? And again, that proxy needs to be on, and you're going to save. All right. So when you do all of that, okay, you'll have these two records. That's what we just configured. This is just going to be whatever. In this scenario, it's connected to a white label software. Okay. So we have the A record that we're pointing to Cloudflare, and then we have the WW subdomain also pointing to Cloudflare. But there's another step. Okay. So do you guys have any questions before I move on to the other step?
Yes, I was informed that we keep the proxy off most of the time.
You do, unless you're doing this. Unless you want Cloudflare to redirect your page, your basically Cloudflare's hosting it. So typically, yeah, you do, unless you're doing what I'm showing today.
Okay.
Okay. So the next step here, okay, you're going to go to, after you've done that, you want to go to page rules, okay? So you can see these are all the options here. You're just going to go rules, page rules, okay? You're going to go create a page rule. Now I'm just going to open this up just to show you because I've already done this. But the first page rule is we want to address the WW version, okay? So we're going to type in www dot whatever your domain is, .com or whatever it is, could be .io, whatever your domain is, okay? That's going to be this part, but everything else needs to be the same, okay? So it'd be www dot whatever your domain is /**, okay? And it shows you an example down here. That's really important. So what that's saying is every single page that is attached here, I want to be redirected, okay? So we're going to put the asterisk there, and then we're going to choose from the drop-down menu here, forwarding URL. So you just scroll down to forwarding URL, and then you're going to choose 301 permanent redirect, if you want it to be permanent until you delete it. So we're going to do permanent. And then we're just simply going to paste wherever we want that to go. In this scenario, to this main website, okay? So that's step one, okay? So we've now addressed completely the WW version. So anytime someone goes to this here, it's going to redirect here. Anytime someone goes to this here, it's going to redirect here, as long as we complete this next step, okay? So we've done the WW version. Now we need to create another page rule. And this one is going to be the root domain without the WW, okay? And then it's going to be /*. Then we have forwarding URL, 301 permanent redirect, and then we're going to redirect here, okay? Now what that does is that keeps, like when you go to Vision SalesBot or you go to www.visionsalesbot, however someone reaches that, it goes to this domain. Do you guys have any questions about that?
I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah, you went deeper
That
than
is
I've been looking at.
cool, man. Because I've been messing with this stuff for a while, and I have yet to touch this last thing that you just did. That's fire. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yay. That is that's why I wanted to talk about that today, because we always we kind of talk about like, connecting domains and things like that, but you really like all of those things really need to be addressed. Otherwise, you're going to have broken links all over the place. So
Yeah.
cool.
I appreciate you sharing that to the depth that you shared it to. And it also shows how much value it is in that area and that there is a market of people who don't know it. I enjoy watching a different perspective and watching the way that you trained on it. And of course, it gives me confidence in what I do. So thank you so, so much for that.
I'm glad. Cool. I do have just a couple things else that I wanted to show you real quickly. I didn't expect that to take so long, but I'm so glad that you guys got all the value out of that because I hear your questions all the time, and I always want to, I take the value that you guys give me, and I want to address that in our training. So I did want to show you, if you guys have opened up your AI ads system, you do see we now have the new look here that you guys can check out inside of your accounts. Everybody's account has been updated, so you may want to check that out. That's pretty cool. The other thing that I did want to tell you is there are multiple new modules here in the AI Coach. So if you look for, there's now an opt-in page creator, there's an email newsletter creator, and then you can also scroll down here. There's presentation scripts, event registration page, and then even event nurture sequences. So remember the AI Coach, what's cool about it is you can train it on your business. And then it takes that knowledge and your avatar and your customer pain points and all of that, and it saves it. And then you can generate all of this content based on what it already knows about your business. So it's kind of like training ChatGPT to know everything about your business, and then also training it on all of the best marketing strategies and all of that. So all of that's on the back end that helps you generate that content. So you guys can check that out if you're interested. Yes, Martina, you have a question?
So while you're there, I did get around to doing mine last night, of course, middle of this morning. And my mind is blown at how extensive it wrote out all of that content. So I do have a question, and I'm having to do this from memory, but I did see where it said to save it so that it could use it in the subsequent softwares.
Mhm.
However, and I put in the competitor information and I got to that one. But when I went to use social autopilot, it was asking for my brand voice, and I didn't see where it brought my information over. Now, is that one different
Mhm.
than the
Yeah,
other
it's
ones?
totally different softwares, but
I thought so.
yeah,
Okay. But it
yeah.
looked like your branding on it made it look like it was part of it. So that's why I was like, is this the same thing or is this different?
I did my job then. It's but what you can do though, what you can do is you can export that brand profile report, and then you can import that in any software like the social autopilot. You can import that, and then it will learn everything about your business that the AI coach learned as well. It's just a step you'd have to do instead of that like organic
Okay, I
integration.
think okay. Well, I will go back up and go down. It's just I remembered social autopilot, so I like skipped three of them. I think it was ads, leads, and something else. I skipped those three and went down to that one, and it did the first campaign. However, it's not using my brand font. It's using something that has a little frilly to it versus I like Montserrat and just about everything that I do. Montserrat, Open Sans,
Mhm.
Helvetica, those are the ones I prefer. And it had a fancy font in it, so I'm glad it wasn't even going to try to start doing anything until next week because I had to get some kind of sleep today. But I'll go back in, and I do want to try to follow the steps and go down through it. It's just I remembered social autopilot, so I skipped some, and then I saw it didn't bring over the brand voice, so I'll go back and do that. But Bridget, it was spot on. It was spot on in my avatar, the competitors stuff, the comparisons. I really was blown away. So let me go ahead and get to my second question for that. How do we now take what I was just able to do for myself? If I were trying to be able to do this same system for my clients, is that where my licenses come in? And I would set up for each client, or would I tell the client to go get one? That's where I got a little confused on the journey here.
So if you want to resell the AI coach, it's Hey Levi. So you could go to myvisionagency.com/Hey Levi and create a white label agency account and purchase licenses that way. Or you could use your affiliate link and refer them to the software bundle, and they'll have access to all the tools.
Mhm. I think that's probably the better option, because I know at least 2 of the clients that I need to have doing this, I'm probably going to have to use the affiliate link and get it set up for them, and then allow them to start coming to training to figure out what I did for them.
Yeah. You know, what's super cool
I'm
is
just thinking about the market of who the age range of those 2 people is a little on the season side, and they're going to be like, no, you're going to have to continue to do that for me. I can't do it.
yeah, you know, that part, that's why I love Hey Levi so much. That part that you're talking about, that discover, and you know, because you do branding, right? It's like discovering your customer avatar, the pain points, and all of those things. I mean, that is crazy. And if you hire someone who's like SEO or doing copywriting, they need that brand report to be able to even do that. So here's Mr. Plumber who's like, I don't know any of this stuff. And then they want to hire someone and pay them thousands of dollars to do it. You can be the person they hire to do all of that, and all you have to do is use that tool and generate the brand profile. It's insane, totally insane. I think Martina hopped out. I think your internet was being weird. You may have been going in a dry zone or something. Charles, we'll go ahead and go with you.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, good.
All right. Question. I know how and it's funny because it's kind of in line. When you're using the brand board, you know how you can store the colors in there, and you also can store the font that you want to use. But when I'm in or looking in a website, I know how to access the colors, but how do you access the font automatically? Or you just have to manually just search for the font? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't know until I look, but let's look.
Okay.
Well, first, let's look together. I don't like just
Obviously, Charles has his domains in order. I thought he was coming with the thunder on this question that you needed
Sorry, Keith.
stretch.
Sorry, Keith.
He's like, I already got this domain. So
Uh,
first, let me see in my
no,
vision.
full transparency. I just have to rewatch it, guys. It's too much going on today.
Okay, so I have open sands and
Mhm.
pop-ins. That's what it's. I just had to look and see what I chose there. All right, so now let's go into the sites, and I just want to see, because I think if we open this up, I think if we go up here where like our main settings are, we should be able to choose that. Right, so we have typography. Let's see, click here. Yeah, I don't see where it allows you to like choose your brand. Let's see if it's on like a text element or something. Add a row, element, pull in the headline, highlight. Interesting.
Okay, so it's not me. Oh, mm,
Did I say, oh, Maserati was not. That's what this is. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Charles. That might be something that's like coming in the future, and
okay,
that's why they just kind of added it there.
okay,
Yeah, but I don't know.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Just like asking me those questions. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I was sitting there and I was doing the colors and I was like, oh, I need the font, and then I was like, what's the font? I couldn't remember. I know I put it in there, but I couldn't remember. So then I was like, it's got to be easier way. Okay.
No, I love it. Those are the questions I know that people who are actually working, they ask those questions.
Take it away, Keith.
If nobody else has anything, I'm hoping for the trailer slash preview of what Vision Sales Bot and what you said you're gonna teach on that next week. Is that right?
Oh man, you
Because
guys are
I'm already selling it, so I need to know where I can where I have to embellish and where I don't. What's it gonna look like?
It
well, I don't want to show it. I showed privately in open office hours if you were there when I did that.
The
But
one day I missed.
I know I haven't shown it yet. I haven't told anything about it really. So you guys will have to wait until Monday for that. But I have some really, not only are you guys getting an account, okay, you guys are all getting an account. But
I already
I'm
got
also
one.
I I'm also updating our snapshot and all kinds of cool things, but you'll have to wait till next week. But I will say the founder of the chatbot will be joining us on Friday, so you'll know about that on Monday.
Mhm.
And then also you guys will be getting, like I said, not only a new snapshot with updated funnels and all of that stuff, but you'll also be getting an account for that booking bot next week.
That's crazy. As someone who's been using it for months, guys, like I maybe 10 months. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I love it. And once you get it set up and once you understand your prompts, you can make happen what you need to make happen. And for me, that's really been a game changer, just because it makes the interaction with the client so seamless. And granted, like there'll be errors here and there, or I'll see something that happens, and I'm like, oh, I need to collect a little bit more information, and then you just go back and you refine it. But it's just all about using it, and customizing it to your situation and what you need.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more advanced than the normal like high level conversation AI. Um, what I
Facts.
when I was looking for the best chatbot because I tested many of them extensively,
Hmm.
I it was so important for me to choose one that made it really easy to ongoing train.
Hmm.
High level, I love how in the conversations tab, if gives an output that you don't
Hmm.
like, you just click the little down arrow and you can
Hmm.
correct it. And I
Hmm.
love that the ease of training. I think
Hmm.
that's so important because if
Hmm.
you have to to train your bot, if you have to go to another software and you have to oh, here's the question, here's the answer. It's like I feel like those types of things, they just won't get done.
Right.
So what ends up happening is you don't have a bot that's trained very well, and then you end up not using it because it's not trained very well. And then it's another like wasted software. When
Right.
actually, if it just was easy to mix into your workflow, then it's more, you're going to train it more, it's going to be giving you better output. And so that was really important to me. One, the advanced functionality, but also the ease to continuously train. So that integration with high level, that was a huge, huge part of my deciding factor, but you
And,
guys love it.
and even that you say now that you say that, and I think back, like the integration part, like the fact that I already had something going as far as volume, as far as conversations happening. That made the process of integrating that so much easier, because then you had stuff to train from, and those types of things. And it's funny, like now I don't even really, other than maybe a tweak here or a tweak there, or if I need to create a new prompt for a different conversation that I want to have, there I don't really have to do much. So that part's really, really cool. And then I agree wholeheartedly because the reason that I went to it is because when we were having a conversation about chatbots and I was talking about, yeah, but I needed to do different things based on a given situation. And so the ability to be able to do that and set that up and, I mean, I love workflow stuff. The prompt workflow was, I just love that. But once I saw that, and I was like, okay, I can have any type of conversation that I want to have at any point in time. And that part's really great. So definitely.
Yeah, and I love about this chatbot software that's different from the others is when you pull up, I'm so excited to show you guys, but I'm making myself not do it because I'm always like a kid on Christmas where I'm like, I buy a gift and I just want to give it right away because I'm so excited. I just cannot wait. But I'm making myself wait because I really want to release this next week when I have you guys. I already know if I tell you what it is, you're going to want your accounts right now. You're going to want, and I want to wait and make sure that when I tell you, you have your accounts. But um, all of that aside, now I forgot what I was saying. I got way off track. I forgot what I was saying.
It's very exciting. I mean, to say the least, guys, it's very exciting and it's a phenomenal piece of software. So I mean, and
Just-
what's really great about it to me at this point, it's so ingrained, like I don't even think about it. Like from a use case, like I don't even think about, I forget that it's doing what it's doing. I mean, I know when I need to go in and step in, and that's another thing too, because you can step in if you need to step in as well. It's just great. Kat, what you got, man?
Sorry, before we move on, sorry, Keck, to interrupt. Where can I find the office hours for yesterday in the community? I'm still confused on that. Is it posted or do you have to be there?
Yeah, you have to be there. I
No
don't
worries.
share that unless someone was there. I don't typically share that. And I've said this before. I like the open office hours are not live, and I like to kind of keep that locked down as much as possible because I don't want you guys to fear like sharing your screen and your client information and things like that, and then it's recorded and just everywhere. Anybody can do anything they want with it. So I really try to keep that locked down. So I try to reserve it for people who are there.
Appreciated. Sorry, Keck.
Hey, no worries, no worries. I was just gonna say we're gonna have the option to white label that to sell that, the
You'll
sales
have to
bot that you're
sign
gonna
up
have.
for your own account to white label, just like most things. The only thing that you can resell in our program is your own high level account and then the AI ads manager. But everything else that I provide for you is a tool that you can use. And what I love about this structure is you use the tool, you can decide if you want to sign up for white label. But and that's the same with like Hey Levi and Brand Blast and Play or like any other thing that we resell that you guys have the ability to use because I want you to use it. I want you to get experience with it for your own business and then you can decide, whoa, this is like amazing. I'm totally confident and educated in this tool. And now I feel like I'm ready to resell it. And then you can subscribe. But usually, what happens when we sign up for a white label software to resell, we don't really know a lot about it. And then we sign up for it, and then we're like scrambling because there's a high cost, and we're trying to figure out how to resell it and all that. So, all of these other tools, that's my goal for you, not only just to have them to use for your own business, but for you to have the experience using it so that you're confident when you do decide to resell.
Nice, nice. I'm super excited about just knowing that you vetted it, and this is what you're bringing to us, and that's huge to me. And I feel also like after I heard you say that, like just God's timing's perfect. You know what I mean? I'm here crafting my offer, trying to figure it out, and this is coming next week, and I'm just telling myself, well, I'm right on time.
Uh-huh.
So I'm excited with you.
Yeah, cool. So, next week's all about the enormous amount of gifts that I'm giving you all. So don't miss it. It's going to be fun.
I second the comfort in you vetting things first, by the way. That's fantastic.
Get on the I third it. I third it.
Cool. Well, it's like I vet it first and I bring it into the program, and then I rely on you guys to vet it as well, and give me the feedback and all of that. It's like I'm only one person, but I love that we have a community of like we're all using the same tools. So we're all testing it out. And it's also like if a tool is not good, we'll be the first ones to know. Like our community will be the first ones to know. Because one thing I learned from a previous software company is sometimes things are just straight up crap. And there's so much marketing from the company to cover up the fact that it's actual crap that like you don't have all the information that really you should have. And so I love that we're like kind of like a big beta testing community where it's like, oh, I use that tool and I love it. Like Charles actually using the tool for almost a year saying I love it, it's great. That is awesome for me because I am putting my reputation online and saying, yeah, you guys, this is really great. This is what I think. So I love to hear all of that feedback, and I love that all of you guys are using the same things.
I don't want to be pushy, but are we keeping you from your next meeting?
My next what?
Your next meeting with someone? You said you had 2 o'clock.
I totally lost track of time. And you know what's so funny is I just heard my dogs barking, which probably means our cable repair guy is here waiting, but he's going to wait because I had to wait for him. So he's going to wait for me, and I'm going to do the wheel.
Can I
Okay.
can I say something real quick? Because I
Yeah.
couldn't raise my
Yeah.
hand for some reason. I kept clicking on it. And this is for Martina because I'm just gonna blow her mind a little bit more.
Oh
About
boy, oh
Bridget.
boy.
Okay, hold on. Everybody, I mean, she gives a lot away, and I didn't want to out her on this, but I'm going to. Guys, I've been making videos for a while, and I'm not that good at it yet. I'm working still. But Bridget saw it, and she did it for me. She sent me a Blue Yeti. Yeah, I know. Look at her. She did send me a mic, and that's why I sound better. I don't know if you guys watch my videos. I'm speaking to it now. I hope, Bridget, I'm still trying to figure out how to connect and do all that stuff. But yeah, she sent me a mic, a beautiful mic. And people that come in my room, they're like, what is that? And I'm like, that's a mic from my friend Bridget. There you go, Martina. I blew your mind. She gives a lot out that you don't even know about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats. And you do sound amazing.
Do I sound better? Can you hear me? Better than
Yeah.
Yes, yes. You sound clear. You sound clear. You sound like you have a little of that boom in your mic.
That is the same mic that I use and I've used for years, and I absolutely love it. So if you guys are looking for a mic, the Yeti Blue, oh my gosh, so good.
so pretty too. I just have it. I feel so professional. She sent that to me a few weeks ago. I just didn't want. Today I felt that I had to say something to blow Martina's mind a little bit more.
Well, you know what? I always say I love to give credit where credit is due, and I'm just so super proud of you because you you set a goal to make those videos, and I know that you were super nervous and you did it, and you made live videos like for an entire year. I think that's so awesome.
A year and 1 month now, and I'm learning. I just learned some more stuff. I learn every day, and I figured out some stuff to do on Canva. I can't use all that software, but Canva is working out right now for me.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's such an important thing, Maria, is that you just have to use what you have and just make it work. And I know that you were doing it with that other mic. I wanted to help you level up.
Thank you. That really helped. It makes me feel professional.
You're putting in the action. I love action takers so much. All right, guys. So my internet can get fixed. I do want to call out your names. If I do not call your name, let me know. Maria, Martina, Anthony, Brett, Charles, Frankie, Keck, Keith, Manny, Ray, and Ricky. Did I miss anyone?
Yes, you missed my second persona, Martina.
Oh,
I see Martina in there, but I need Martina in there too.
okay. Okay.
You missed my name.
Did I? Oh, Rick.
Yeah, I've got two drawings for either Maria or Frankie.
Just a second. Okay. All right. My internet guy's here. So let's spin the wheel. my husband just tapped on the door like, I'm sorry. Oh, there you go. It's
Wow.
Fred. All right. Congratulations.
Way to
All
go,
right.
Rick.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Hate
Congrats,
to
Fred.
like quickly run, but I have to go. I'm gonna send you as soon as we're done here, probably from my phone. I'll send you the email to book your appointment. You guys, thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm sorry I gotta rush out of here, but I hope you have an awesome weekend and I will see you all next week for the week of fun. Have an awesome weekend and I will see you on